taking a break from his busy schedule of hand washing and rewatching Tiger King. It's time for BSing with Big Nate.
Welcome into another edition of BSing with Big Nate. I'm Big Nate. That was Freudz Couch. The track Black Car off their new album. Well, we'll go with new. March isn't that far removed, especially in quarantine time, off of their latest Psycho A. I am joined today by drummer Nik. How you doing
Nate.
today?
Good, Nate. How you making up?
Fair to Midland. Can't complain too much. Weather's finally cruised down here. Of course, you could probably talk about weather more than me, being up in northern Canada. When was your last snowfall?
Last week we had some snow, actually, so we're finally, I think we're finally past it. Finally got my snow tires off my car, so we're ready for the summer.
What does summer look like there? I know this isn't what we want to talk about, but I'm just dying to know.
Well, I'm up in Sudbury, Ontario, so summertime is a beautiful time. So a lot of green, a lot of lakes, fishing, camping territory, but just a lot of forestry. It's beautiful up here in the summer. Winters, not so much. A lot of rock, a lot of tons of snow. And just for some trivia for you, Sudbury, actually, the town we hail from, is well known for your American NASA astronauts in the 60s. They came here because of our landscape is very similar to the moon. So they did a lot of their training up in Sudbury. Back
That's what we like. We like fun little tidbits like that. So
tidbits apart from music, yeah.
So Freudz Couch, you guys have kind of you and I have been chatting about, you guys kind of have a long history, but it's also kind of intriguing to me. So we're going to go ahead and I want to start there, kind of just do this like an artist profile. How did Freudz Couch first form?
Well, we're going back a lot of years now, early 90s. And basically a couple of post-secondary schoolmates got together. We were taking some music classes. Our original bass player at the time, who was a good friend and a high school lifelong friend with Don, our guitar player. And I met the original bass player in music class, and we both had a desire to pursue some rock and roll dreams. And he got us together with Don, the guitar player. And we went a while to look for the perfect singer. It took us about a year and a half before we found a singer. So in the early 90s, we found Patrick, or we came across Patrick, and we just gelled. And for about 3 years, we went through a rotation of multiple bass players. But since 96, it's been Vinny came on board playing bass in 96. I won't bore you with the details as to what happened during those 3 years with the original bass player, but we've been writing and recording for the most part ever since, except for that long break between 2003 and 2016. But it started as schoolmates.
Let's talk about that break. To go from 2003 to 2016, where you're coming back to kind of just get together and see if those creative juices were still there. What was going on in those breaks for each of you? Was it just kind of starting a life, building a career, or?
For two of us, it was completely starting a life. Don, our guitar player, and Vinny, our bass player, they've never stopped with the music, and they have other projects they do, highly involved in music. But we basically did a 10-year run pursuing the dream, like anyone, loving, having that passion for music. And 2003, when it after a couple albums that were out, multiple singles, it's like applying for a job when you're dealing with major record labels. You're sending in stuff, they give you the standard thanks but no thanks, not what we're looking for, or we need a little bit more. After 10 years and spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars recording, going out on the road, promoting yourselves, that dream just wasn't happening. And life started to take over. So Don, our guitar player, was the first to have kids. He made a move out of Sudbury. He moved out to Ottawa. The rest of us were left here in Sudbury, and it was getting difficult for us to travel, perform. But we had a commitment to pay off a lot of the bills, which is one of the things I'm very happy about. But basically, when all our bills were paid through the gigging, we did a lot of gigs where we would pay for our food and drink, maybe the gas. The rest of the money went back into an account to pay off the thousands of dollars of debt. After that, we just decided, you know what, it's time to pursue our life dreams, family, those kind of things. We all started to have kids, fell in love, marriage, all that. And for all of us, that became the priority. Long story short is family took over, and raising kids became the priority, and we had no regrets because we thought we gave it an honest shot. We did 10, 11 years of pursuing the dream.
But then 2016 rolls around and giving it another shot. What ended up happening there? What was the genesis of, let's see if we can do this again?
We missed the whole social media era. So the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, Facebook, those kind of things. So to get your music out, it wasn't as easy as it is today to get the Twitters and the Facebook. So our original music wasn't out on social media because we came to an end just when that started to boom. And talking to just a new friend, a musical drummer friend, about, oh yeah, I used to play in a band. One of those used to play in a band a long time ago. Our music is out there, but I don't know how much of it you can hear. And we only had our stuff out on CD Baby at the time. So to sum that up, he goes, well, I'd like to hear all your other stuff. Do you have more? And then thinking back, I know that we recorded a lot of stuff that wasn't on CD Baby. I reached out to our guitar player, and we pretty much all lost touch. We moved on to our lives. And basically said, you know what, we should put out some of that early stuff now that there's a social media thing. And Don, to his credit, his response was, hell no, why don't we see if we can write another song? and it was, what do you mean, right? And what would we do with it? Well, maybe record it. We'll put out something new instead of the old stuff. And basically that was the genesis of it. It was reaching out to the other guys to see, you got any interest to see if we can even write a song? The other guys said, what the hell, why not? Let's try it. We got together in a barn on a Saturday afternoon, and after about 4 hours, 3 songs came out of that jam, and we thought, wow, that was a little, I don't want to say it was easy, but easier than we thought. It was like 13 years hadn't passed, so we still had an ability to put some original music there. Basically, that was the genesis of trying this again, and it's led to a whole bunch of other stuff the last 3 years.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, so since 2016, you've written this stuff. Like I said, back in March, you put out Psycho A. What was the process of going from your mindset in the 90s to your mindset now? And now you've got 7 Hard out of Germany. You're working with them. Like, what's the shift in mentality? Obviously, you've got the social media coming about. How has your process changed when you're trying to write things and get it out there?
Completely different. So when we got, just to go, yeah, it's actually kind of been surreal. But when we first got together in late 2016, we actually physically got together, and we put out, prior to Cycle A in 2017, we put out a 5-song EP. So we were able to still get together and write together, and we put out the EP, and that's what generated some interest with 7 Hard Records. We were able to get stuff out on social media, and now it's accessible everywhere. Excuse me. When 7 Hard reached out to us, we had a couple of other indie labels reach out to us, which was really weird because the first time around we had to reach out to companies and rarely get response, but now because of social media, you got people reaching out to you. And they said, look, we really want you to put together an album. We like what you have. They were very kind and generous, but we went back and said, look, we all now live in different cities. If you're going to ask us to commit to get on the road and start touring, we're not in a situation where we can do that unless there was a high demand. So if we're going to sign something where you're expecting us to put out an album or 2 or 3, we can't commit to that. And they came back and said, you know what, don't worry about it. Don't stress. If you can put something together, we'll put it out, we'll market it, do what you can. So it was appealing that way. So we signed, but I guess back to your question as far as the process, completely different because we weren't able to get together in the same room, all 4 of us, to write songs. So that was generally the normal process first time around. This time around, everybody wrote and recorded the songs pretty much individually. And if it wasn't for Don, our guitar player, he set out a foundation for songs. The last thing that was done was the vocals and the lyrics and the melody. So it was an entirely backwards process. Everybody, for the most part, was working alone on it. We didn't think we could pull it off. And shockingly, surprisingly, we pulled off what we feel is probably one of our stronger albums.
No, it's a fantastic album. I kind of see. So full disclosure, Nik was kind enough to reach out to us and send us some of Freudz Couch's work, and I was kind of listening, and I was like, man, this really rocks. And it's not like anything I've ever heard before necessarily. Like, I can hear that there's a lot of influences there, but it's definitely very uniquely Freudz Couch. Like, now at this point, I could pick it out and be like, oh, I know that. Black Car, the single is the one that ended up getting me hooked, and kind of just dug through and have been putting it on Spotify, doing stuff around the house, and there are some things in there that really jam. But oh, good Lord. Sorry, I was on another path there. The power of social media is where I was trying to go with that. You're able to find us down here in the New River Valley and reach out to us, and I think as a band that took that shot initially and then is now kind of doing something, just trying to focus on the music and writing the music, you can reach out. You've got the internet at your fingertips. So I have to ask, being that you guys aren't necessarily planning on committing to a tour or something like that, what's on the horizon going forward? I know we're just 2 months out from the release of the album, but are you guys working on more stuff?
Well, right now, a lot of promotion. So you're right. And just with social media, about me reaching out to you. So I've kind of become somewhat, quote unquote, managing or the band because of social media. And you say you can reach out to, radio. You can just reach out to anyone specifically to kind of help with some of the promotion of the music, hence us reaching out or myself reaching out to you. So promotion right now is the key for us. We want to, we're getting thousands of, I wish I can tell you millions, and we're getting heard in places around the world now because of social media. Something we never could have imagined 20 years ago when we were out there promoting this stuff on the road. So we want to get the music out there heard. That'll give us an opportunity, if we can create a large enough audience, to continue to do this. So right now it's trying to maximize the promotion of this new album as much as possible. So that's the short term. Long term, we'll wait and see what's happening. But it's creating a bit of a buzz because for the first time ever, the company 7 Hard has asked us to first for us shorten Black Car. So next Friday there's actually going to be a shorter version, an edit, a single version of the song, because right now there's just the album version that you've been out listening to. There'll be a shorter version coming out next Friday, and that's one thing that's changed with us. We've grown, something we never would have even considered doing 20 years ago if somebody were to ask us to alter, even if it would have been better for the song. We were stubborn in that way, but we've been more open to, okay, maybe it might be a little bit more radio friendly if we shorten it down to closer to 3 minutes opposed to 4 minutes.
Gotcha. So promotion, speaking on that, where I've been listening on Spotify, trying to get those Spotify numbers up for you guys. Where all can everyone find Freudz Couch? All streaming services right now, because of all streaming services. We do have CDs, hard copies of CDs out. Sadly, people aren't buying CDs anymore, so we have to take advantage of the iTunes, the Deezers, the Google. It's worldwide, and it's on every streaming service, and that's thanks to 7 Hard to make it available to people worldwide. So it's accessible online, limited CDs. Up here in Canada, I can ship you some directly, but I don't think you'll be finding any in any record stores anytime soon. We can hope.
Yeah, although I will tell you this, we have been talking about one thing which would be a dream, and we may look at this later summer, is actually putting it out on vinyl. Something we've never done, but vinyl, I think you're well aware, has come back. So there is some talk of potentially doing a limited vinyl edition of this new album.
I would be absolutely in love with a vinyl, but I'm one of the few, like, I prefer to have, it's funny, like I was mentioning, I'm hearing you guys on Spotify. I'm very much someone who likes to have a hard copy in front of me because I'm of the belief that it was a labor of love all the way from the initial phase of the writing through deciding an album cover, deciding on the packaging. Like, there's stuff that goes into a lot of thought that goes into that. So that's something to me where I've become a bit of a collector, and I have this really, I'm sure my wife hates it, I have this really nasty habit of, like, I'll discover a band and then it's like, all right, I just gotta go ahead and buy everything. Like, gotta have it. I'm a completist with that. So vinyl, I think, would be very cool to look at. Where can they find you on social media? Of course, Facebook, Freudz Couch. You're going to be tagged in this video, but
Twitter, the Instagram, Facebooks. There's the Bandcamps. There's the SoundClouds. It's been a learning experience the last 3 years. So, and this is stuff we were never part of up until about 2017. So we're trying to get it out there as much as possible. So pretty much you Google the name Freudz Couch. Interestingly though, spelling with the Z, that's created a bit of problems because it's not spelled correctly. It's supposed to be apostrophe S, and I've recently discovered something. I won't go into details into why we spell it with the Z, but that's a whole other story. But I recently discovered now with technology, with the Alexas and the Siris of the world, if you'll say like Alexa or Siri, play Freudz Couch, I guess there's a mechanism in there where it spells it out, and they spell it properly with an apostrophe S. So they have a hard time finding it because it doesn't spell it with the Z. So one of those things that might come back to haunt us unless they change the way they do the searches.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. We rarely use our home assistant, but I didn't even think about that. That's that's a good point. Before we get off here, I do want to go ahead. There's one more question that if I don't ask you, my boss will be mad at me for himself. So I've got to ask what you play.
What I play as far as what instrument I play?
Drums.
Yes.
What your kit is, yeah.
What my kit is. Oh, is your boss a drummer?
Yes.
I play and I love it. Yamaha Maple Absolute series. I've fallen in love with the Yamaha series. One of the record store guys out here, actually I should give him a shout out, Angelo. We just announced he's going to retire. But I've been buying a lot of my drum equipment through him, and he got me hooked on the Yamaha product. What does your boss play? Do you know?
Pearl? Is that going to be head or is that going to be the kit? Good
No,
Lord.
that would be a kit. There's both.
Yeah, so Pearl, I'm pretty sure. I know his cymbals are all Zildjian.
I was a Sabian guy, but I've just rediscovered pasty cymbals and hi-hats, and much of the recording process this time around I changed my cymbals. But anyway.
See, I know my boss watches these, and I know like right now at this moment he's like, "You idiot!" Just throwing something at his screen as I
with the Pearl
drum set. But I couldn't remember his brand. See, I always played bass, so
you're a player.
Whatever I could get my hands on, I was usually playing an Ibanez. Did have a Dean for a while. Of course, I've had to shelf those as a career moves on, and time is a valuable thing that I don't have enough of. But no, very exciting stuff coming out of the Freudz Couch camp. Of course, you can check out Psycho A, pretty much, like you said, any streaming service. Give him some love on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And Nik, thank you so very much for joining me.
Hey, Nate, thanks for giving me the time to talk about the band. We really appreciate it. For all the guys. All the best to you.
My pleasure.